Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, somebody who I am just getting more and more impressed with his articulation, his strength, his power, his ability to torch hypocrisy from the hypocrites, especially in this explosive interview that he had today with one of the worst, George Stephanopoulos from ABC. Hey, ABC, maybe it's time, Maybe it's time you stop platforming this egregious liar over and over again. Before I share with you some of these awesome clips, remember, this is the same guy who cost ABC millions of dollars by spreading libel about President Trump. Cost the corporation. I thought that was going to be the end of him. For some reason, they've kept him on. And this is the same. I want you to pay very, very close attention. This is the same guy who cut off the vice president of the United States, whom he had the privilege of talking to on a Sunday morning during one of the biggest crises this country has faced. We are entering day 50 almost of this government shutdown. I want you to watch this video, watch his face as he gets lambasted with the truth, as Vance completely nukes him. By the way, that wouldn't be a bad ticket, right? Vance and Bessent. A lot of people talk about Vance Rubio, Vance Gabbard, maybe even Hegseth in there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Might not be a bad ticket. Could be quite frankly, could be one of the most solid tickets out there, right? We got a great guy in Scott Bessent as vice president and J.D. Vance bringing in the front. You know what? I don't think that would be a bad idea. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, but watch this clip of J.D. Vance destroying Stephanopoulos and then his demonic reaction. Watch.
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
Did you see his face at the end there? Did you see how callous, how consumed with TDS and hate? He didn't even address the government shutdown. He didn't even address millions of Americans struggling. He didn't even address the military who aren't getting paid. Now you've got air traffic controllers literally having to deliver groceries as a second job just to feed themselves, their family, pay their rent, their mortgage, for crying out loud. This is the most stressful job of all. But no, they don't care about that. They only care about gotcha moments. They are so head to toe consumed with TDS. There needs to be, I think Bobby and the rest of the medical, health and human services, the FDA, CDC, they need to come up with a vaccine for TDS like ASAP. I think that should be like top of mind after we get this shutdown fixed. There are murmurs as of this recording that the shutdown could be ending, that the Democrats, the hypocrites who've been the Schumer shutdown, holding this America hostage. I talked about that in the last video, talking about the filibuster. I went in great detail what that is, why it should be obliterated, especially if we want to get our America First agendas done and executed. I'll leave a link to that in the comments. But there are some rumors as of this recording that this shutdown might actually come to an end. Maybe you're already, as of this recording, maybe it's already shut down when you're watching this. By the way, let me know. That would be a great little cool litmus test. Write in the comments, is it still going on or did they actually resolve it? Let me know in the comments down below. But I also want to show you this before we get to the awesome, red hot, blistering footage of Bessent torturing Stephanopoulos, I want to share with you this quick montage in case anybody dare say this ridiculous, concocted, cockamamie story. Well, you control the executive branch and you control the legislature. You control all three. It's all bunk. They think you're stupid. They think we're stupid. They know full well that you need 60 Senate votes to reopen the government. They're only 5 short. You hypocrites, this is all on you. Here's proof. Watch.
Do this while we have the leverage.
Of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer, but it is one of the few leverage times we have.
You reopen the government and we lose our leverage, there has to be an agreement right now. That's what this whole shutdown is about.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage.
The idea that you would give up all of your leverage and then hopefully get some sort of great deal coming down the pike is just a fool's errand.
Why are working families the leverage the Democrats need to get Obamacare fixed?
It's the only lever we have.
Democrats have this one little sliver right now when we've got some leverage here.
Some Republican senators have pushed a bill that would pay government workers.
I think that just gives the president more leverage.
Catherine was basically expressing, in her own words, the notion that our leverage right now are our votes.
Them wanting to solve the problem that we want to solve, but do it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks when we've given up our negotiating leverage.
Without that leverage, the minority party, would be stuck in the mud and not basically have anything to negotiate.
The Democrat Party is the party of mediocrity. As somebody who has worked in the public sector as an actual professor, but mostly I've been running businesses since I was 13, helped my mom open her very first leather shoe business, handbag store, which is still open, by the way. God bless you, Mom. Love you. Taught me everything I know, pretty much. I can tell you right now, and let me know in the comments. I know there's a lot of business owners that watch this show. There isn't one single person. This is what I mean by the Democrat Party is the party of mediocrity. There is not one Ghetto Crockett, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, there isn't one person in the entire Democrat Party that any business owner would hire. There's not one. They're deathly afraid that they're going to lose their job. They're going to have to actually compete in the free market like the rest of us do, actually get a real job. And so they're holding America hostage. That's all they care about. Point blank, period, full stop. That's all they care about. They're deathly afraid because this is a band, a cult of mediocrity, period. And Scott Bessent proves it right here. I'm going to share with you a couple of clips, and then I'm going to share with you evidence of Stephanopoulos. This guy was a Clinton advisor. He's been in the Democratic caucus for decades. I'm going to share with you some poignant clips and clippings of what this guy really is all about and how he lied to Scott Bessent and how he continues to lie to the American people. But first, here is the Treasury Secretary, Mr. Bessent, on how Democrats are sabotaging the economy with their government shutdown. Watch.
Are we starting to see a permanent impact on the economy?
Sure, George, and good to be with you. And we've seen an impact on the economy from day one, but it's getting worse and worse. We had a fantastic economy under President Trump the past 2 quarters, and now there are estimates that the economic growth for this quarter could be cut by as much as half if the shutdown continues. And what your correspondent didn't talk about there, George, was there's, of course, the human cost, and we're going to have the busiest travel day of the year, the day after Thanksgiving. And Americans should look to 5 Democratic senators to come across the aisle to open that. Over the course of the next few years, we could take in trillions of dollars, George. But the real goal of the tariffs is to rebalance trade and make it more fair. Over time, and the president's goal is to bring back manufacturing to the U.S. For the past two 2, 3, 4 decades. We've seen our manufacturing sector gutted. So what would happen over time is we would take insubstantial money as factories come back to the U.S., as we're seeing now. I was just down in South Carolina at a rare earth magnet plant and a Boeing plant on Friday. And, that's I believe, 1,500 total new jobs. Tariff income will be substantial, but then that will rebalance. The goal here, George, is to rebalance trade. So tariff income will be substantial at the beginning. It will come down, and then domestic tax revenues will climb as corporate taxes go up and all these high-paying jobs are created.
That last clip right there, you see Secretary Bessent talking about the advantages, the benefits of tariffs. Never mind reorienting trade, incentivizing factories to build, grow, manufacture in the United States, which is literally what gave us the golden era at the turn of the century during the Industrial Revolution. But it sends a message to the world. Biden, Kamala, 12 of the last 16 years, these hypocrites had power. That small little window, 2016 to 2020, 2017 to 2020 rather, they destroyed our image. Obama did such an awful job. We were so good with Russia before 2008. That was the coldest, iciest war you could imagine. He turned it to a lukewarm war, and then them annexing Crimea and then attacking Ukraine. It's turned into like a full-blown volcanic war now that President Trump is trying to put out all these fires. These guys are mediocre. They don't have any skills at all. And here is the big one right here. The hypocrisy. Here is where Scott Bessent unleashes on George Stephanopoulos and the radical woke left. This is the clip, folks. Check it out.
George, the best way to do it, and look, you were involved in a lot of these in the 90s, and you basically called the Republicans terrorists, and you said that it is not the responsible party that keeps the government closed. And so what we need is 5 brave, moderate Democratic senators to cross the aisle, because right now it is 52 to 3. 5 Democrats can cross the aisle and reopen the government. That's the best way to do it, George.
I can disagree with you about the history there, but we don't need a history lesson right now.
George, let's talk about
what's happening right now.
If you want, I've got all your quotes here. George.
I'm sure you do.
But let's talk about the situation right now. Read your book. So you got one purchase on Amazon this week, and that's very much what you said.
He says, I read your book, George. I've got all your quotes. You got one purchase. That little dig at the end is so gold. I love it. I love you, Scott. We got to get you on our show. We're going to get Scott Bessent on our show. You got one purchase on Amazon, George Stephanopoulos. Way to go. You can finally get that kidney transplant you've been saving up for. Oh, I love it. By the way, this is a lie. Everything that Stephanopoulos said is a lie. I've got the receipts, okay, as I always do, Nez Nation. Check this out. So this was back in the year 2000. Stephanopoulos said, this is when they were battling George W., trying to get Al Gore in there. No one knew who would get blamed more for the shutdown, Democrats or Republicans. But there was more than the shutdown involved. First, there was also a threat that they would not extend the debt limit. This was the big hammer that would force the president to accept whatever the Republicans want. Remember, there's this huge shutdown, huge battle between Newt Gingrich, was the then House Speaker back in the 90s, late 90s. Our strategy was very simple. We couldn't buckle. And we had to say that Republicans were blackmailing the country to get their way. In order to get their tax cut, they were willing to shut down the government, throw the country into default for the first time in its history, and cut Medicare, Social Security, education, and the environment just so they could get their way. And we were trying to say that they were basically terrorists. And it worked. Look at this, folks. Does this ring true today, or does this ring true today? Look at the highlighted text. We were trying to say that they were basically terrorists, and it worked. Stephanopoulos is a huge liar. And check out this clip from 4'3" leprechaun Robert Reich as he lays out the exact same strategy congruent with what Stephanopoulos said. Check this out.
It wasn't at all clear who would lose that blame game. And the party that lost the blame game would probably lose in the 1996 elections, or at least suffer major setbacks. So the stakes were huge.
Our strategy was very simple. We couldn't buckle, and we had to say that they were blackmailing the country to get their way.
You see that, America? Not much has changed. Whether it's terrorists, fascists, garbage, deplorables, Nazis, whatever, take your pick. Threat to democracy, constitutional crisis, take your pick. The hypocrites have lacked substance forever. They've infiltrated our public institutions. They've infiltrated public broadcasting. They have an entire apparatus at their behest, and they have polluted the brains of over half this country, if not more. That is why this fight is so meaningful. That is why I am never going to cease day and night to expose them and hopefully educate my country and my countrymen and show them who they really are taking the masks off. Because I've worked with them. I know them. They don't give a rat's ass about you. They don't give a rat's ass about me. And they, for sure, 1,000,000,000% don't give a rat's ass for our future grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren. Not even close. Can't wait to get your comments on this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please make sure you tap that thumbs up and share this with everybody. Now, I know that from our great, amazing viewers and listeners from the UK that what's happening over there, you could almost say is a prequel for what's happening here in the United States, especially what happened in New York City, electing Mamdani, who's never had a job in his life. He is a declared socialist communist. He is a Muslim who has ties to a lot of bad people. And so that I'm getting a little emotional here, so I apologize. But the way that veteran was talking about the sacrifices that they made and seeing what his country has become, you can feel the heartbreak. And I am with you, sir. We are all with you. And it just gives me more fire in my belly to keep doing what I'm doing. God bless you, sir. God bless everybody watching. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you didn't see them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.